because what you want at 50, what you're prioritizing as a woman at 50 is not what a 20-year-old is posting, right? Like that's the other side. But if they've never matured past that, and it might speak to why they are available or on the market, I feel like you and I need to like come up with a new dating site to like filter some of this, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
That might be our thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
They're like dating.com. Yeah, go ahead.
Dating, yes. I saw a clip from the Drew Barrymore show. I don't know if you've seen this. And I don't know who the guest is. I don't recognize her. I feel like I should. But
yeah,
Drew brings up dating sites. And the lady said they need one app called What's Left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Don't Drink, the podcast. I'm your host, Daffney Allwein, and I'm so glad to be with you. Now, recently, I have been visiting other people's podcasts and really building a lot of community. And honestly, I think that's what the world needs most right now. I've been able to visit some professional podcasts, some personal growth podcasts, and even a fitness beginner, which was a really great way to share some of my knowledge and build that community. But what I'm really excited today is one of those amazing podcasters is here with me today. This is Kari Hurd. Hi, Kari.
Hi.
Kari and I have very, very similar mindsets when it comes to podcasting about being your authentic self, never showing up small or shrinking in those ways, because Kari's podcast is called Fine. And what I love about that is we often as women, we often as Gen Xers or Zennials, we often are just like, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm fine. And that's not what life is about. It's not about fine. It's not about getting by. And I think one of the gifts in your 40s or late 30s or coming out of this is realizing that you have a priority to fine. We don't need fine in our lives. We need bold, big movements of being yourself. Hi, Kari.
Hi.
Kari, what do you love? What do you think?
I could have said it better myself.
Kari, what do you like about podcasting?
Moments like this, I love connecting to other people. Because like you said, I think that community that we need in the world right now, right? And just that collaboration. And, you know, I know you and I had chatted once before just about this idea of connecting to people that may or may not have similar ideas as we do or whatever, but just that connection and collaboration. Because it's a really isolating time right now, I think. You know, I sit here and you try to avoid the news, you try to avoid the doom scroll, and it's just, but I find myself longing for like you said, that connection and that collaboration and that. So
it is the one thing that we have control of in our lives is putting down that phone and hugging a real person or having a conversation. And I think sometimes we're in this fear pattern, right? Where we don't fit. This person's going to misunderstand us. We don't have the same background. We don't have the same views. And that's what we need to break through. And I think that's what's exciting about our podcast, you and I both, is that that's not what it's about. Like, I may not understand you, but I'm going to listen. I want to hear, because we've got a common thread somewhere that's going to help us have these conversations, understand each other better, because I think divisiveness and hate and all those other things really grow in these hermit spaces that you're talking about, these isolated spaces. Like, we think this is who we are, this is the box we stay in, and we can't talk to anybody that's not like us. Wow, that's a scary place, right? So I'm so excited. Yeah.
I think that the compounding piece, as you're talking, that's spinning in my head is, and I don't know, for me, if it's the timing of how it all played out, I don't know if COVID had anything to do with it. But so I started sort of my personal development journey kind of when I hit that moment of we're not doing fine anymore. I hit that at like 2018, 2019.
Wow.
And then, so I don't know if it's through like I said, I don't know if COVID's a factor in it, but for me, part of it too is when I chose to not start settling anymore and like started to choose myself, there was sort of this natural isolation that came with it because it was, like severing relationships that didn't serve me anymore and walking away from situations and stepping into a space of being comfortable with myself. Like I really am perfectly comfortable being at home in my cute little studio all by myself. Like I'm perfectly comfortable there.
Yeah.
And so to your point, like pushing myself out of my comfort zone a little bit is a little challenging. And for all the reasons you mentioned, but then also, like I said, in that personal growth journey, you get lost a little bit. Maybe you don't know who you are, or you do know. And, there's just so many variables. So like you said, just to get yourself out of your comfort zone a little and say, you know what, I need to go be with humans. And I don't care if it's on a screen like this or out with my actual humans or whatever, but you need to be with people.
I couldn't agree more. And I think the other side of the coin is like, it's scary. And I think anybody who's going to be honest with himself, COVID made some changes in your life. Either it changed your priorities, it changed your focus. And I think we're all grieving a few relationships that we just had to leave behind. One, we realized they weren't convenient anymore. They didn't match who we were anymore. So as much as it was like this devastating, fearful, scary time for a lot of people, it was also like a mass cleansing. I mean, in that way.
So. I mean, that part I rather enjoyed. It sort of gave me permission to do some of those things a little bit. Like,
can you tell us what your story was? Do you feel
yeah, sure.
Share it.
So I did the college thing, married my college sweetheart, got an education degree, did all the things I was supposed to do. We made the picket fence life. We lived in suburbia. We did all the things. We had 2 kids. We had a dog. We did all those things. And then that marriage fell apart and I became a single mom. And the funny part was there was a part of me that always knew I would be a single mom. I don't even know why. Even before we got married, I don't know why, but I digress. Found myself being a single mom, kind of doing the struggle of that for a lot of years. Still tried to, and I think that this is where some of the rubs started to happen. So that was in my 30s. And it became this like, I was trying so hard as a single mom to not be perceived as a single mom.
Oh, tell me what that looks like. Tell me what that feels like.
I had a stereotype in my head that if people knew I was a single mom, like there was going to be judgment and there was, I don't know, that was, and I know that was in my head, but there was,
right?
So I spent a good portion of that just making sure that my kids felt like they had a quote unquote normal life. At the time, I wouldn't have known, like it was perfectly fine that I was a single mom, but like that rub that was in my head all the time. On top of all the normal struggles of being a single mom and making ends meet and all of the, whatever.
You had to put on a show for everybody too, right? You couldn't just be a single mom figuring it out. You had to like bring the Broadway musical behind. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And then got into another long-term relationship. After a good number of years, we tried to merge houses and that didn't go great. And so that relationship ended. I had some career transition happening that wasn't necessarily my choice at the time. That brought us to like 2018. And so like literally everything around me was crumbling. And I see now that was sort of universal design. It needed to all crumble in order. It needed to crumble in order for me to really see it. And so then I just kind of started on this journey of self-discovery and figuring out like, who am I? And I kind of dismantled everything that was left, thinking that, well, let's just burn it all down and build from the ground up and start completely over. And and I've been on this journey ever since, just really finding myself and trying to help other women. So it doesn't, because, like I said, so 2018, that's 7 years ago. It's been a hot minute. So the work that I do is to try to help women navigate that a little faster, a little more effectively, with a little.
So you didn't have the support. Yeah, you didn't have the support. You didn't have the forethought, but you do now. You're like, listen, keep coming. It's good. It's going to be okay. Keep coming. Right?
Exactly.
I feel like that's a lot of like the coaching I do too, is just I've been there. I can't live it for the person. But you and I talked about this. Like, everyone turns towards these bigger figures like, Tony Robbins and all these other, and they're like, if I read this book, I'll be healthy. If I do this, but like you and I discussed, it is so personal. Your entire journey, no one has the same upbringing you do. No one has the same background. Like, no one has your kids. No one has your story. And I think we sort of get this idea that we read this special box, or special book, right? Or we go to this workshop that's, and you teach workshops, which is really cool too.
Yeah.
And we shared that even though someone's coming into your workshop, it's sort of a big target, right? Like, some of these things will mirror and match your life perfectly. And other things won't relate to you or won't align. And you have to be able to be discerning about what makes sense for you, because I know that I can get the top 10, Dan go, this is how I can up level my life, but that's not my life,
Right.
And I think even something, go ahead.
Even if somebody had, like, if you were cloned, their response, like, I could have, my sister and I had very similar, but not exactly the same lived experiences, right? As siblings.
Yep.
But her response to some of the things is vastly different than my response to them. So even if you have
recollection, right?
Yeah,
like how
so
they remember the same event.
lived experience, it's so different. So you can't take, so when I do teach workshops, I'm always very clear, like, I deliver frameworks for you to work within to create what works for you. Because I don't care. Like I said, even if we have the exact same lived experience, my 10 easy steps is not going to work for you. That's why your bestie down the street can go do 75 hard and say that it was the most magnificent thing ever. And you do it and it's an absolute shit show. Like,
this is why group diets don't work, or these sort of, like, these blanket sort of suggestions of everybody needs to be paleo, or everybody needs to be this. Even the fasting, I know intermittent fasting was huge, right? Like, everyone's doing this, but depending on where you are in your cycle as a woman, it's one of the worst things you could do, especially if you are trying to get pregnant or you're trying to transition into menopause. Like, it doesn't make sense. Just because it works for 10 people on the internet doesn't mean that that's a match for you. And if you're not listening to your body, if you are not trying things with the mindset that this may not be for me, but I have to listen to my body, it's amazing. It's wow. Well, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we bounce into, and I'm glad you're in the work like I am. Like, when I work with somebody, one of the challenges is figuring out what their values are, right? Like, what do they value? What do they want? Because their priorities are different than mine. So I love to do this little exercise, and I know you're familiar with it. So I think for fun, are you okay? We're going to do this.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
We're going to do that. We're going to do this thing.
Before we do it, I'm going to throw the caveat in, though, that your values right now are also going to be different. So, like, a lot of the work I do around these, we revisit every once a quarter. Like, personally, I revisit every month. But every month, every quarter, realistically every quarter. But I do kind of a check-in every month. That's probably a better way to say it. Because your values shift.
It's true. I do it with clients once a year. It is something once a year, and I don't do it on January 1st because I feel like that's a horrible time to, but we look at those values to see if they still align with what we want to accomplish in those quarters, in those years. So I cannot take credit for this list, and we're going to put the list up for you all to see here. This is actually Brene Brown. She, her Dare to Lead list.
Is that what this is? Okay.
Is what it is. It's her Dare to Lead list of values. Now, for the most part, you're going to find your values on this list. But as we caveated before, there is some spaces below for you to write in things that maybe would not apply or would be really unique to your situation. So,
and I know we're going to dig into ours. I'm going to encourage the listeners too, to think outside. Like, for me, family's a no-brainer, right? Like, no-brainer.
Yep.
I always encourage the people I work with, like, get to that next tier. If you really want to make an impact in your life, get to that next tier of the ones that aren't maybe as obvious, but actually probably make a bigger impact in the choices you make every day.
Yeah. What supports you first supports the people around you, right?
Mhm.
So on this list, I always do this. This is my format. So this might be different for you, Kari, but I always ask my clients, and a lot of times my friends too. I like to do this to my friends in a chat. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You're having trouble? Let's align here. Is to pick your top 10.
Yep.
So there's a list of about 40, 50 things here that you're going to read through this list and it's going to really hit for you. So 10 things are going to feel like the top of your list, most authentic to you. And we will even dig a little bit differently thereafter. But once you get to the 10, which is hard, it's hard to get to 10. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, yeah, because right, you look at this list, and you're like, well, all of these things are my values. And that's why I'm saying, like, I challenge you to like,
yep,
really, how do you, and when I'm looking at the values, it's how do I want to feel in general in my life on the daily?
Yeah. Yeah. Who am I? Right? Who am I as a leader?
Like, in general, how do I want to feel? Not so much what do I want to have, but how do I want to feel on a day-to-day basis? Not that there's going to be there's going to be bad days. There's going to be days you're off or whatever. But in general, how do I want to feel? That's
a really good way to integrate that thought, because I hope we gave the listeners enough time to look at their list and pick their 10. Yeah. If you haven't, go ahead and just grab a marker, jump in there. It's a lot of fun. And once you have your 10, I'm going to ask you to do the impossible thing.
Narrow it down to 3.
I'm going to have you grab a little highlighter. And I'm going to go further. I'm going to have you pick 2. Your top 2 of those 10 things. And this is the harder part, right? This paring away, because you may be a very charitable person. You may be a family eccentric person. But what I want you to do is go to 2. Your core is at the 2 of those. Kari, did you pick your 2? Because I feel like you picked 3, but now you're like, now I got to get rid of that one, right? Okay.
I do have my 2.
You have your 2?
Yeah.
Kari, will you share your 2?
I will share my 2. Family and authenticity.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Okay. Why those 2?
I think because when I look at this whole transition that I've gone through, I have 2 biological children that are mine, and then they each have a partner. So we're a little crew of 5. And
you're empty nested too. You're not just dating. You're not just podcasting. You are like empty nesting. I love this. Go ahead.
But so my little crew of 4, our group of 5, like that, and then my sister and her family, those like 10 people, drive everything I do. And they have been the support through all of it, right? So like that's just priority number 1. And then I think authenticity, because I was so lost outside of myself for so many years. And so now that I have started to refine that, I don't know that I don't like to think I've ever arrived, right? There's no magic arrival. But because I've gotten more connected to who my authentic self is, I cherish that, because that I don't ever want that to go away again. So
I can't wait to dig into that, because I think my 2. Are you ready for this one?
Into it, but I want to know your 2.
Okay. And I'm glad you said, like, I like to revisit this. And pre-COVID, I had a different list. And post-COVID, with 2 daughters and this really big passion project in front of me, I found that optimism and courage are actually just the fabric of me. Like, just the fabric of my life is about being optimistic, right? Finding the positive thread in everything I can. Like, you don't always have a good circumstance, but you can make a good circumstance out of a bad one, right? Like, so optimism, that whole Pollyanna effect, like that has always been me. I've always been that kid tripping through daisies. Like, well, they were really crappy to me, but you know what? They're probably having a hard time. And you know what? I'm better off for having had that conversation, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And courage is just, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue, but the courage to trust myself and listen to myself is so integral and so important. So those are my 2 fabric points. And, it affects my work. It affects my momming. It affects my marriage. It affects how I show up in the world, because without those 2 pieces, I'm not Daffney. So yeah, I was like, surprising, but like when you have to pare down and say from 10, right? I love my family. I love all these things. They're very important to me, but that's who I am. Those are the two like
Exactly.
prongs. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that
Oh,
that's the key, right? Is forcing yourself to come down to 1, 2, 3, like those.
it's just like prioritizing. Like if it doesn't align with these two things, or if it doesn't feel natural to you, that's the other side is if I start getting anxious about a situation,
Mhm.
because it's unfamiliar or because somebody else's voice is in my ear. I'm like, no. That's not one of my priority values. One of my values is courage, and I'm going to be courageous, and I'm going to find an optimistic, turn on this one. So
Yeah, you're just using them as those compass points, kind of, right? Of like,
absolutely,
okay,
that's a great way to say that. Yeah, you're like, here's my honing beacon.
I call it your inner GPS, right?
Oh, I love that patent pending.
Yeah, patent pending. Because, and here's where that came from, is the idea that I gave a keynote talk one time, and I called it like something calibrating your inner GPS. And the idea was you would never, and if I say it, my phone will actually activate. But if you say, hey, phone, give me directions away from here, right? So like, if you're feeling stuck or you're in a situation you don't want to be in, and you say, give me directions away from here. It can't do it. It needs a destination.
That's a really good.
So you
that's
need
a
to
really
figure
great way
out
to
your
say that.
destination, right? So your values are your destination.
That's amazing. Yep. I was like, and I like that you're like your beacon's out there. Like you may not know what the next step is, but know that's where you're headed, and that's what always sort of is
using that again as that compass of like, okay, then once you give it that beacon, I was like, you get turn by turn instructions, right? If you choose to listen.
This is true. Yeah.
Right. And when you get detours and I believe in universal energy, and I believe the universe gives me the exact same message as my phone does if I listen.
If I love you saying that.
So
how does that equate real life for you? Like in this state at this time? Because I think a lot of people will be very encouraged by this new chapter for you because you're very young. I'm sorry. When I heard you, like, can we say your age?
You can say it.
Kari's 51. She looks 32, but she's 51. And it's amazing that she's got this whole new beautiful like chapter out in front of her where her kids are grown, right? They are launched by all counts, right? We never know, right?
Yeah, we never know. They may be back. Who knows?
She has this amazing goal of supporting the women and the clients around her to navigate this thing she didn't have a mentor for. And on top of that, she's putting herself out there in the dating world, right?
Yeah.
Can I say the hard thing? Like, how do I be the person to swipe? Like, I want to swipe right on myself. Like, what's your what? How do I
don't know if I've ever thought of it that way.
Yeah, I want to be the person I swipe right on. So how do I become that person? Or tell me some of your experiences. Because I frankly, I haven't been dating in 20 years. So it's a little weird.
I'm going to have to noodle on that after we get off the episode today. Because I love that. Why would I swipe right on myself? You know what I did actually that was really helpful, because I think, we always have such a skewed vision of ourselves, right? Or impression of ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
I reached out to a handful of people. One was my ex. We were friends at the time, and my children. And I said, I didn't say, tell me what you love about me. I said, tell me what I brought to the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or tell me what I, like with my kids, tell me what I bring to the table for you. That was really enlightening, because it did then reinforce for me the things that I find to be the attributes I would want to be putting out in the world, right?
Okay.
So that was really helpful. Like, tell me and I think the biggest thing was just, I love people for who they are, always.
So you are unconditional. This is like that's amazing.
Listen, I'm unconditional if you're in my sphere. You've got to earn the right to be there. Really, you've got to earn the right to be there.
Good choice. But
once you're there, absolutely, you be who you are. No worries.
That's amazing. Yeah. I think a lot of people need that. That's sort of like a blanket sort of like, who wouldn't need Kari? Like, who wouldn't need someone to let you authentically be yourself in front of them?
Which is funny, because I never connected it to like that authenticity piece, but it is. It just that. So like,
it goes right back to your value map, right?
It does. Which is funny. I'm just processing that now as we're talking, that like, that really is just something so ingrained underneath who I am.
Yeah. What's your favorite dating story so far? You have one to share? Or maybe anecdotal, like, I should have known better. Like,
yeah. So I am often on a particular app just because I've found it like comfortable to navigate or whatever.
okay.
I think that it's just in general, it's just a lot of trash out there. It really is. It's a little bit of a cesspool. Let me rephrase that. I'm sure there are really nice guys out there. I'm sure there are.
Yes.
I'm not finding them. I've learned, here's a few things I've learned.
Okay.
If it says unsure, like they're not sure what they're looking for, but just a good time, they're just looking for a roll in the hay.
That's very Midwestern of you. And I love that you said a roll in the hay.
Yeah. Every man out there, I shouldn't say every man, I'm generalizing, but this is what you come across. They post selfies with fish.
Fish.
That could also be
yeah.
very Midwest thing because we really, with all of our lists, like fishing's actually a big thing here. So they post selfies with fish.
Yeah.
Bathroom selfies, gym selfies.
Oh.
All of them want an independent woman who wants adventure.
Okay. So can we peel that back and say what is it really?
Adventure. Like, I mean, yes, I do, but you know what I mean? Like, yes. I don't need to go scale Kilimanjaro to have adventure. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
What do you want to peel back, my friend?
No, it was like I peel back some of those pictures, like what they think they're projecting at you by having like a bathroom selfie. Because immediately I can say only
they're usually dressed up bathroom selfies. They're not usually like naked bathroom selfies. They're like usually in a public bathroom, like at a restaurant.
Because I go right to how clean is that bathroom, right? Like, I
look
scan past the person's picture and I'm like,
oh, I do that too. Or if they're like in their living room selfies somehow, like I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, what do you got going on back there?
Guys should know that we don't actually. Yeah, we are looking at your health and your,
yes.
But like we're actually looking in the background and like
correct.
What your background is really telling you. And believe me, I don't know. Are you impressed by the fish size? Like, are you just like, because, that must be like a 20-pound fish that they're lifting? Like, no. What's the fish tell us? Is it phallic? Like, what do we,
no, it's a thing here that if you catch a big, like if you go fishing and you catch a large fish, it's a thing to like take a picture of it.
It's very primitive, right? Like, it's actually kind of primitive. Like, and I think look at me.
They're trying to show that they're outdoorsy, right? That's the other thing. They want a woman who's outdoorsy. Well, I appreciate the outdoors. I love being out in nature. I love going for walks. I don't mind fishing. I grew up doing it. I'm not going to go sit in a deer hunting stand in a tree. I'm not going to go bunker down in a boat to go duck hunting. I'm not, you go do that if you want. I'm not going to join you because my definition of outdoorsy, I bet, is really different than your definition of outdoorsy.
Like picnic, wine. I think that's like, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about was like our personal messaging. Like when we're putting photos out there, what we think we're projecting is really about like what we think other people want from us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And for men, and I'm hearing the exact same thing from my friends who are on the dating apps.
Yeah.
The reason they're doing these things is because other men are doing them. It's almost like they're doing it because no woman.
You know what's funny though? It's funny that I think you're right. They can't see each other though. You can only see the gender that you're looking for. So like,
it's good. There's other ways to illustrate how healthy you are and how outgoing, but like some of the photos are pretty primitive when you think about it. Like really me kill fish, you be provided for, right? It's sort of, so I think that's really funny that there must be this collective, or maybe it's AI doing it, like telling men that like, these are the top 4 photos that every woman expects to see from me.
Yeah. I love, my favorite thing is when, and to be fair, my red flags are different than your red flags. It's different. But when their red flags are like right there in their profile, I'm like, oh, okay.
See? I see. And again, I take the optimistic turn where I'm like, thank you for being honest with me. Right?
I did this with my sister. She goes, well, at least he was honest and didn't waste your time. And I was like, yeah, for sure. I get a good chuckle out of it, but
there's a lot of, if you just kind of flip through the photos of the men, it depends on, and especially when they're over 50 and things like that, and they're still doing very similar photos to the guys in their 20s, like basically they're not men, they're still children, right? Like, because what you want at 50, what you're prioritizing as a woman at 50 is not what a 20-year-old is posting, right? Like that's the other side. But if they've never matured past that, and it might speak to why they are available or on the market, I feel like you and I need to like come up with a new dating site to like filter some of this, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
That might be our thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
They're like, fuck dating. Fuckdating.com. Yeah, go ahead.
I saw fuck dating. Yes. I saw a clip from the Drew Barrymore show. I don't know if you've seen this. And I don't know who the guest is. I don't recognize her. I feel like I should. But
yeah,
Drew brings up dating sites. And the lady said they need one app called What's Left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would. Because that's what it feels like.
Do you... I guess that's the other question is like, we were talking about like, would I swipe right on myself, right? Would I swipe right on myself? But that even still comes from a place of asking somebody else to choose you, right?
Yeah. And I think I find the apps challenging in the direction you're headed with that question or that statement is, I don't want to choose just based on what you look like.
Right.
But if the app is putting that out there as the first point of contact, right? That's it. I'm seeing your picture, and then you're left to your devices to come up with answers to these prompts.
Yep.
And I have always been kind of a grammar there and there. Like
it's a details thing. You're somebody who appreciates details.
It's not a deal breaker per se, but like I'll notice it.
Yeah, you are. It affects the way you feel like the person's intelligence also relates. And it could be completely false. But
and not that I haven't made that just in, whatever.
Sure. But you're all the time. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a hard time with the idea, again, we're looping back to authenticity. I'm not getting to know you.
Have you ever been surprised by a date? Have you ever been surprised by somebody where you totally misjudged them based on the profile information they gave you? Hopefully in a good way, but probably in a bad way too. Are you pretty good at filtering people?
I don't know if I've ever been surprised.
Okay, good.
They kind of just, they're putting them like they are who they say they are. It's just like I don't know. It just it's hard to like get to know them.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we're in such a weird state where like if you find someone you kind of mesh with and you go on a few dates, it like escalates really quickly.
Yeah.
And that also feels really inauthentic.
Yeah, because you just sort of
it's like I hardly know you, but we're in this like committed relationship. Like what? I don't even know you. It was very strange. I don't know, we dated for like a month and it escalated quickly.
Yeah. How did that happen? Or was it just you guys were just blindly hopeful that you had something?
I think maybe, yes.
Yeah. And we all want it. We're all romantic in that way. Yeah.
He was a little, I don't want to say love bomby because that's such a cliche statement. He was a little love bomby. And I was in a space where I was like, oh, it's just really like he's saying a lot of the right things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I had told him, and I was like, oh, this is great. And so you just kind of let it all go and you forget to do some of that like vetting, I guess. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't even like you really. Like, I like the idea of.
I love the idea. Yeah, I love the idea of having someone.
But I don't like you. And I was like, this is not going to work. Like, you're a really nice guy. But
how do you end something like that?
This is very 2025. I sent a text, but it was very long and like really explaining like, okay.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me.
I will admit, it is a little bit of a cop-out. And at the same time,
your time is precious.
It's really hard because we do live in an era where like no is just not heard.
Yep.
And
it's safer. Like, there is a safety factor. Yeah. There like,
and just that whole like having it drag out and whatever. And he literally immediately like blocked
which is a gift, right? Because the opposite is really the concern. I've had friends who've had the opposite where someone doubles down at that point because they think it's a game.
Exactly. So,
wow.
It's a whole very bizarre.
I think that's something we could like really dig into at some point, because it's true. And we generationally, right? We remember that boys will be boys, and saying no is your fault because you let their imagination go that far. So it's really funny that you kind of brought that up. Is just, we are in that world where we're not that far removed from we were in our 20s, where you wear a short skirt and maybe it was your fault. Maybe you miscommunicated to them, So, I don't think it's a cop-out. I think if safety came through a text message, that distance, that perspective, you gave him some time, right, to, not try. And as you know, interpersonal sort of interactions can be misread, but if you black and white it in a text and say, this is the outcome, this is what's happening going forward.
Exactly.
I don't think you could have been more authentic. So kudos to that you were like, listen, this is what it is. But I will give a friend that cop out any day of the week, because growing up the way we did, where there was not that safety net, it could have been your fault. You made them misinterpret what you said or felt, or their imagination. So in the world we're in, I feel like a text message is probably, and that's why I was cheering you. I was laughing. I was like, it's clear, it's straightforward. It's, and maybe you're the BIT, to them, but I think he did the right thing and gifted you with blocking, because then there's no question, there's no backing up from there, which is so much better.
Just done.
Nice. Yeah. What do you think is out there for you? You're really good at aligning
in terms of
like
a partner, or just in life in general.
See, all of the above. So is there a partner? Like, do you feel like there's a partner out there? Because I think you also have to just check in and say, because
there may be. So I'll answer your question with a little bit of a story. I don't know if your listeners know this. You can go to AI. I personally use ChatGPT, whatever.
Okay.
And you can, if you give it certain parameters of things that you would want to include, it will draft a story of like your perfect day.
Okay.
Or your perfect life. It's beautiful. So I did that. And it has this beautiful, and I have it hanging on my fridge. And I tell you that because part of it, and what it says in there is, if there's a partner, he fits. And I think that's the thing. Like, and I tell people all the time, like, I probably 99 days out of 100, I love coming home to an empty apartment. Like, I don't have any pets anymore. I just have me and my plants. And I really genuinely am okay with that. Mm-hmm. But as a woman, we have those days where we're just like, I just want to curl in a ball and have somebody hold me.
Yeah.
Rub my head.
Yep.
Have a glass of wine ready for me, or dinner on the stove or whatever. I mean, that would be nice. But I'm going to be pretty darn picky about who that person is, because I've done it the wrong way and I don't need it. So is there someone? Yeah, probably.
Okay.
If I find him, great. And if I don't, I'm okay with that too. I really am just in a season of, I really, really want to get my message out there. I want to speak to audiences and other communities and just live out what I've spent the last 7 years building.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's a study also, I'm sure you've seen this, that women don't benefit from relationships the way men do.
Correct.
There's a reason that men have trouble being alone, especially after the age of 50. And this is biological. This is actually, increasing their longevity and things like that. And that's why women need to be really picky and really choosy, especially at this time, because we benefit less biologically after 50 from a partnership. So we have to be really specific about who we're picking, that they're not taking our resources, taking our energy, moving us in a direction that doesn't fit, doesn't align for us. So you're actually swiping right and doing this dating in a completely different way than we would have done, 20 years ago, where we were trying to find the right partner to build a family with. So do you have words? Do you have words of wisdom? Do you have like a top three? Like, what would you?
Words of wisdom. Well, and I think that, just to your point, before I get to my top three, that's the hard part, right? Is you don't realize, like, what I'm looking for now is very different than what I was looking for in my 20s, right?
Yep.
And I think that that's an added layer of difficulty,
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like I'm just figuring myself out at 51, right?
That is the big challenge, right? We're like, wow,
And so then
I'm not pleasing people anymore. I'm just,
right. Yeah. And so then to go say, okay, well, this is who I am. Now, who do I find to complement that? That's really challenging. And so I think, words of advice, first and foremost, really know who you are and what you need out of that relationship.
Take that values quiz.
Take the values quiz. Circle the values. I mean, I return to the apps, I think in part to help me sort of solidify that.
Yeah.
Of like, what am I actually looking for? So like before I swipe right or left, either way, I always like, what is it about this person that I am finding attractive or not? Right. And beyond looks, like as I'm reading the answers they put to questions, what don't I like about that? Well, I realized I need someone who smiles because a lot of them look like they're mugshots all the time. Yeah. I'm like,
yes. We're going to put your top 3 mugshots. I'm just joking.
Right? That's what it feels like. Yes. So just really, if you're going to be on the apps, I think do it for that reason of like, what am I really looking for?
I love that.
Pair it with the values quiz. Okay, where am I willing to, because there is an element of compromise. Like I remind myself that often, right? Like, yes, I can be picky, but I can also compromise on, I don't know, date. Like it's not important to me that we have all the same interests. You want to go fishing and hunting and take your fish selfie? Please do.
Yes. As long as you also cook for me and I want to eat it. Yeah,
like,
go ahead and cook that fish. I'll come over and eat it. That sounds delicious, right?
And while you're doing that, I'm going to go walk barefoot in the trail. That's right. I'm going to go be out. That's my nature, right?
The one piece of advice that anyone's ever given me when it comes to relationships, and it's exactly what you just said, is in order for a relationship to have longevity, you have to have your own thing. You don't have to pair up. You don't have to be doing the same thing. You just have to have the same values, right?
Yes.
So if your values match,
yes,
your activity is not nearly as important, right? And you need to support each other in your hobbies and your passions, but you don't have to be in there. You don't have to be. And I think that maybe that comes from some insecurity that you need to be around each other all the time. But I think those are really, really great suggestions. Take the values, know what your values are, right? And know what your value is that you're bringing, what you're swiping to. Give me the second one. Remind me.
I think if you're going to be on the apps, really using it as almost like, not a litmus test, but like as a gauge for yourself.
Good.
Right?
Good. Yep.
It's not, you may or may not find the person.
Yeah.
But you'll start to narrow down and hone in on, okay, if my values are family and authenticity or optimism and courage, what does that look like in a partner? And as you're reading their profiles and reading some of the nonsense that they write in their profiles, how does that align or not? And what does that look like in that sense? Because you know what optimism and courage look like for you in executing the things you want to do in your life. But what does that look like from a partner? Do they also need to be that, or do they need to support that?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Or how does that look? What does an optimistic partner look like? Yeah.
And number 3, when you know your value, don't shrink.
That, yes.
Don't choose. Don't worry about someone choosing you. You choose yourself, because honestly, this is life or death. And I hate to be so extreme with it, but after 50, literally the biology is that the partner you choose after 50 either prolongs your life or shortens it. So don't shrink. Know exactly what you bring. Know exactly what values you add. You don't need to be with somebody in order to do that. No. So, Kari, thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing this podcast with us. Yeah, this is exciting. And maybe
I feel like we started to peel the onion, and we've got about 1,000 other things we can talk about.
We should just do this quarterly. We should just check in and make sure that we're both doing it right. Right.
Yes.
Kari, thank you so much. I hope everybody loved our episode. If you do, make sure you follow and share. And I'm sure you know somebody who's in that dating world and would love a little bit of support. And Kari's here for that. So we're going to put Kari's information in here too, so you can reach out to her and all of her socials. So thanks for being with us.
We'll
talk soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.